Alright.
Alright, you conjuring bastards, here is the ultimate physical damage summoner build. Summoner can be built in a million ways. You can combine so much stuff. And what I did here is a really cool thing, at least for me. We're gonna create a vicious circle of that. Whenever someone goes into the circle, it's gonna get his head smacked 3 times. Inner Demon, attack of opportunity from us, and Incarnate's attack of opportunity. I've tried multiple summoner builds today, and in my effort to create the ultimate summoner build, I've pretty much decided that that title would be too pretentious, simply because summoner doesn't have ultimate version. Every version is ultimate if you know how to combine some things. So there are a million of best versions out there, and I believe every single one of them is good. I like this one because I'm always in love with melee style fighters, and considering that we have 3 in 1 close to each other, we have pretty much an army in that circle. So this is what I've come up with. I'm using Spear mainly because Spear can trigger attack of opportunity the farthest of any other melee weapon. It's completely optional. I also went with Finesse Gear, but you don't have to go for Finesse Gear. You can go for intelligence stuff, but then it's gonna be magical damage, just bear that in mind. Or you can go two-handed strength based weapon. It's up to you, and you can also go strength based gear. I put most of the points into damaging attribute, which is finesse in this case, couple of points into memory and wits. Most of you will probably now freak out and say, well, why not sword or wand and shield? Well, because I've tested tank summoner and it's boring as fuck. I mean, it's goddamn boredom from start to finish. I summoned the Bloody Incarnate, literally he was blood infused incarnate, and he just cannot do as much damage as you want him to do. I've used Enrage, but Enrage only lasts for 1 turn, so that he can do automatic critical hits, and it's just pure shite. I went with over 20 summoning, it cannot do half as damage as you can. And that's why I believe summoning should be used always with something else. Don't get me wrong, you can play preset summoner, no problem whatsoever. And you can also heal, fortify, whatever your teammates need. But as a DPS, you cannot rely on Incarnate in your summons. That I can guarantee you that you won't be happy with the output that they can produce. At least not on higher difficulties. On classic mode, yeah, you can go for whatever. That doesn't mean it's not viable. It means it's viable, but it's not as good as, for example, this version, which I'm obviously gonna show you. So this is what I did. Put most of the points into finesse, the rest of it into wits, and a couple of points into memory. From gear, always focus on getting more wits. You can see how much more critical chance I get from gear and from wits. Wits has been buffed a lot by gear that I'm wearing. What I've combined in combat abilities is this. Max out warfare, max out summoning. I've put 2 points into necromancer as well. But it's completely optional. You might not even need that. Hydrosophist 1 point is optional and Geomancy 1 point is optional. All these 3 bastards are optional. Two-handed is your 3rd priority after summoning and warfare. It will increase critical multiplier of inner demon spells. Hydro, Geo and Necro depends mostly on what type of party setup you have. If you're going lone wolf, then I would suggest putting 2 points into Necro, 1 Geo and 1 Hydro. That's about it really. If you're running anyone in a party that can do those stuff, then you don't need it. You can focus on doing insane damage. From talents, Executioner, Hothead Opportunist, Savage Sortilege are a must. Savage Sortilege is here so that Inner Demon can crit. Without Savage Sortilege, Inner Demon cannot crit. Picture of Health or Stench. These would be my other options. If you want focus on your incarnate and not on yourself, go for stench. If you want bonus to health pool, then go for picture of health. If you're using warfare based setup, otherwise it's pointless. From skills, this would be the basic setup. Add whatever you like to your own build. Battle Stomp, Enrage, Phoenix Dive, Whirlwind, and Tick of the Fight are the skills that I'm using from warfare. From summoning, I'm using Conjure Incarnate, Cannibalize, Soulmate, Power Infusion, Farside Infusion, and Elemental Totem. That's it, nothing more. From Necromancy, I've added to this build, but as I said, you don't have to. Death Wish, Living on the Edge, and Bone Cage. I also put Blood Rain, but that's not needed really. Death Wish and Living on the Edge can be extremely powerful, especially if you want to save your Incarnate. The thing is, I didn't even get the chance to use it on Paladin Bridge. Everyone died quickly, and therefore it was pointless. From the summoning tree, add also Summon Inner Demon. This thing can do a lot of nasty stuff. Now you know how the build looks like. That's all there is to it, and I'm gonna now show you what you should focus on from the beginning of the game. What to focus on through Fort Joe and Hollow Marshes. From attributes, I would split points through finesse and wits. Wits is not here because of critical chance. I would put points because of initiative. If you have higher initiative than your enemies, then you can immediately summon your incarnate and buff him so that you're set. Every other turn you can focus on doing the damage yourself and doing some other nasties that you want. That's why I would distribute points equally to finesse and wits during the first region. Then later, when you get better gear and everything else, continue buffing finesse. Or you can go full wits route. Perfectly fine. Just don't forget that you're gonna have to put some points into memory as well. From combat abilities through Fort Joe and Hollow Marshes, that is about first 8 levels or so, I'd focus mostly on summoning with 2 points into warfare. That's it. Your goal is to get summoning to 10 as soon as possible. Warfare 2 points, enough for most of the skills like Battle Stomp, Blitz Attack, Whirlwind. At level 10, obviously you get Incarnate Champion, and he is far better than the little one. Talents that are really nice at the beginning of the game are Executioner, Opportunist, and also I would add here All Skilled Up. If you get All Skilled Up from level 2 and onward, you can put that one additional combat ability point into summoning to get the summoning faster to level 10. That's it. That's the whole build. Now I'm going to show you how it works. Alright, you bastards, here's typical testing spot. Paladin Bridge. We're going to start by summoning some blood, then fortifying our arses, and then initiating with the Whirlwind. Now that the blood is on the floor, I can summon Incarnate and get the blood infusion. While Incarnate's got blood infusion, you're gonna get +1 warfare on the Incarnate, plus 15% magical and plus 50% physical armor. Immediately I'm gonna enrage the Incarnate so that it does critical hits during the next round. And I'm also gonna buff the motherfucker with Farsight and Power Infusion. Both of these damages stack, and he's gonna get some beautiful skills to use. Most important one being Whirlwind. Now with Enrage is gonna do automatic critical, and this is what I'm talking about. Incarnate doesn't do near as good damages. You can, and that's why I believe Incarnate should be your secondary thing, not your primary thing. But anyway, it's a flexible build, so you can play however you want. Now the fun starts. We're gonna summon Inner Demon and use Tick of the Fight. With Savage Sortilege, Inner Demon will now have the ability to crit. And that thing can really strike. Now, whenever someone goes into your circle, they're gonna get hit by Incarnate's attack of opportunity. If they run close to him, they're gonna get hit by yours attack of opportunity, and they're gonna get hit by the inner demon. A vicious, bloody circle. I think you would agree with that. You can see how fast their health is dropping. Because of all attacks of opportunities they are suffering when they are running through this circle of death. I can also now use Whirlwind by myself. Finish them off. Gonna use Bone Cage. So that I don't get provoked. And if my bastard needs it, I have Fortify. There we go. So plenty of options. Now you could see how much damage he suffered by simply moving through this circle. And that's what this build is all about. Now we can also mix it up, put decay so that he cannot heal anymore. And if your summon is in trouble, you believe that it's gonna die, the only thing that you need to do is put Soulmate on him, summon Elemental Totem, and now you can cannibalize the totem, and champion will receive all the heals that you got simply because now you have Soulmate on him. When Soulmate is used on your summon, it will get half of the healing and armor restoration that you receive, and you can also clear frozen, stun, knockdown and petrified effects from your summon if they are suffering those effects. So for example, if this bastard was now frozen and I've used Soulmate on him, he would become unfrozen. I'm gonna use again Demonic Tutelage, or whatever the name is of this funny named skill that is wrecking everything and everyone. And if we want still, we can summon some totems. Completely up to you, really. I don't like using those totems, but that's just my preference. And there you go, this is the build. I prefer to use Summoner as a secondary thing, it's much more effective that way, but if you want to use it as a primary thing, it's perfectly viable, it's just not gonna be as powerful as something else when combined with other stuff. Special thanks to my patrons, thank you all for watching, don't forget to check out the description, and see you all soon.
Toodaloo, motherfucker! Hey.